Okay, let's move on to the final topic of discussion, Bally, which is Splatoon Global Testfire for the second Splatoon. They are having a weekend where you can, at 1 hour intervals, I'd completely forgotten this is how they did this, but this is how they do this in Splatoon Global Testfire. At 1 hour intervals, you can log onto your Switch, download the Testfire, and play some Splatoon. It's essentially a beta, but it's also a server stress test. But also, this really feels like marketing more than anything else of all those three things, because Splatoon is a little ways down the line. We're not going to have it day one, and it is a big draw for a lot of people. People love the first Splatoon. There are some people who never played it who are interested in trying out the second one. Is this a smart move by Nintendo to draw in people and convert them to the cause of Splatoon, Bally?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously the Wii U did not sell well. People who will be buying Switch have not experienced Splatoon, just based on the number of sales, and Nintendo desperately need to make sure that those people who haven't tried Splatoon have an ability to try that game. And then when it comes out later in summer, I believe it's coming, isn't it? That they can.
Yeah, they haven't said what month yet,
right?
But I would assume June or July.
Get the hype going and say, right, Splatoon 2's here. You need to buy it. That's what we're doing. You know you're going to like it because you've already played an hour and a bit of it. So there you go.
I wonder kind of what maps they'll use, if they'll go kind of crazy and maybe try something different, because what I've seen so far, like from those trailers, didn't really excite me. There's been like a couple of screenshots floating around of new ones. Like there's one which takes place in a jungle gym. I guess that's the American way of calling it. It's like a rock climbing center, essentially.
Right, okay.
So there's like rocks on the wall and you can climb around. I remember going to one of those like really far north, like near Edinburgh, and it was this insanely huge place that had like hundreds of feet in the air of people rock climbing, and it scared me to fucking death. But I'd be fine playing around in that in Splatoon.
Yeah,
that sounds like a fun thing, especially if you can like go up the walls and stuff and drop down on people.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think what we've seen in Splatoon 2 so far is overly exciting. That there's new weapons, great, but I think that it might, in my view, I think between now and summer, it's going to do what Mario 3D World did, where we saw that initial trailer of 3D World. It was like, that's 3D Mario, I guess. Here we go. And then there was that trailer that just had tons and tons of stuff in it. And I think that obviously we've not seen anything that's single player related. I know that they're revamping, and they've got a new campaign in that. So
I have some faith in the single player, actually, because there was a tiny little part of the trailer where you see the back of either Callie or Marie. I never know which one is which. You see the back of them and they're wearing a kimono, and it feels like there's some kind of theming going on with like Japanese area. So I think that they have an opportunity here to create a single player which has a more tangible identity of its own, and has something that is more themed around a certain aspect, as opposed to the Splatoon 1 single player campaign, which, though it had some cool mechanics and ideas in it, felt like a Mario Galaxy ripoff to some degree, where it's just these amorphous kind of stages in the middle of space.
It would be nice if, you're right, the single player really sort of went on a tangent from some of these more cityscape situations we've seen in the maps, and like you genuinely do some good world creation. You're right, it kind of felt a bit detached, like Mario Galaxy. I wouldn't even rule out them potentially, maybe it would be down the line, but incorporating another Nintendo character into this game in some way. I don't know. That happens. The bleed over happens in Mario Kart and Smash Brothers. I think Splatoon is a good candidate for that, but also like I love that Splatoon has its own identity and that it's its own thing, And I worry that if Nintendo just keeps smashing everything together, they're going to lose the identities of those franchises on their own. It becomes like, here's all the Nintendo characters doing a shooter. Here's all the Nintendo characters doing a kart racer. Here's all the Nintendo characters doing a fighter. And
absolutely.
We might still get there one day, but you're right. At this point in time, it's probably not the best idea.
Yeah, it bleeds the lines a bit too much, and Splatoon is still in its infancy as a franchise, so I'd like it to kind of grow and get its own identity and do all this stuff. But yeah, does it frustrate you that they've continued to go down the line of, hey, it's this 1 hour slot, or would you say that that's a smart thing on their part?
I mean, I don't know how important it is for them in terms of we need to really test servers, and they want everyone on at the same time in order to, first of all, make sure that the hype is there and that everyone will be able to find each other, and be like I said, test out if they can handle that many people online. And they did have some issues with the global Testfire, certainly in Europe, on the second
they did,
one, or maybe it was the first one. I can't remember last time. But I don't know. As a consumer trying out Splatoon 2, it's not ideal, but
it's inconvenient for sure.
It's inconvenient, but you're getting a game that's not out early, and it needs to be like a smaller download, and I don't know. It might something to do with that, I guess. It's just testing out that bottleneck.
So I personally like it, not only because it allows them to get a great idea of like heavy traffic in a sense that they're probably never going to realize when the final game comes out, because obviously this is a free thing that anyone wants to get their hands on, but also because when other companies do things like this, and Ubisoft did the For Honor beta last weekend, which I played a significant amount of, there's the danger of your player base going, okay, I've had my fill of that. I don't need any more of this, And that was especially true with For Honor, because the game was coming out that week and you had the whole weekend to play as much as you wanted. And I played a significant amount. And I was like, this is really cool. I don't want to play any more of this. So I didn't buy it. I didn't invest in it. I wasn't going to anyway, to be fair. But I think there is the possibility that people play to heaven and hell of Splatoon 2, and then they're like, no, I'm done. I'm okay. I actually think in that sense it's probably they're more safe if they were to do that, because the game is still a ways out. So even if people got their fill, they'd probably be willing to go and play it again once the final game came out. But it was just that instance of Ubisoft doing this and me being like, yeah, it's cool, but I'm done. There's a danger in that, I think, in a weird way.
And it keeps the hype going, and you're right. A little taster, that's what they want. A little taster, get you excited.
It gets you excited, and it makes you want to come back for more.
Right.
Which is
and that's exactly what it did to us last time. And
totally,
we both bought it day one, absolutely loved it.
I mean, it was even more significant last time because Splatoon was a brand new game that no one knew what it was like or how it played or anything. So.
And for many people buying a Switch, that'll be the situation they're in. So it's a great situation to do that.
Yeah, it's a brilliant way for them to convert people. Smart stuff. And I think in Japan especially, this is great news, because Splatoon is the second fucking coming of Christ in that country. It blew up hugely for the fact that it's a new IP, it's a shooter, and it's online based. Who in their right mind would think that the Japanese would care about something like that? Yeah. And yet Splatoon fucking destroyed over there. So you can find a situation where Switch sales are going to spike heavily the weekend of this Testfire in Japan. It will be a noticeable uptick on the graph of Switch sales, I believe, because people care about Splatoon to a crazy degree over there. If you enjoyed this discussion and would like to hear more, consider subscribing to us on YouTube and following the podcast playlist. You can also find us on iTunes and various other places. Follow us on Twitter @TNL Podcast and email us thisnintendolife@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.